What's good, YouTube? Dom Staven Sports Cards here, back with another video. Hope you're all doing well. Today, I have a special VR for my good friend Shane at Shoebox Legends. Shane is a really awesome member of this community. I've enjoyed becoming friends with him through the comment sections here on YouTube. He was actually one of the first supporters of my channel, and the man just hustles. He puts out a video almost every single day. I'm shocked that it took him this long, honestly, to get to 500 subscribers, but that's just the way subs go in the community sometimes. Really awesome guy. He makes an effort to comment on other people's videos, and is just a great collector and community member. Tons of great vintage and modern cards, the whole gambit. He enjoys hockey, which is something you don't see from a lot of vintage baseball collectors. And it's just a really cool guy that I wanted to support with my VR here. He wanted us to kind of tell how our collecting has changed. And this is something that I've kind of given stories of here and there in various videos and interviews that I've done on other channels. But I don't think I've ever laid it all out in terms of like the segments of how I collected in order. And to me, it's not how it's changed, it's how it's evolved. It's how I've started to divvy up the pie. The pie started with just wanting a rookie card of Daisuke Matsuzaka back in 2008, 2009. And I just had to have this card. He was a phenom for my Red Sox, and people were wearing his shirts at school. His rookie card, 2007 Topps, the black border, it just really called to me. And that was just like an awesome jumping off point for my collecting. I wanted my favorite Red Sox players as well as chasing the hot rookies, and I still do that to this day. I mean, I picked up Johnny Damon in a Red Sox uniform, on-card auto jersey, and I still collect the Red Sox rookies to this day. Triston Casas, our opening day first baseman. Hopefully he ends up having a longer career here in Boston than Daisuke did. But just stuff like that, chasing the new rookies still that don't play for the Red Sox, the hot rookies. Michael Harris, NL Rookie of the Year with that Gold Cup, as well as Adley Rutschman. Shout out Will Steff with the Orioles, really great young catcher. That kind of stuff still excites me when I can pick stuff up. It's a smaller piece of my pie than it used to be because of all the vintage stuff that I got into later, but I still love it all the same, and it's a part of my collection, the first part of my collection, both Red Sox team collecting and rookie chasing. And then I've talked about it. I discovered the 1959 Topps Marty Keough. Should have pulled that card out for this, but that was the card that introduced me to vintage baseball cards. And the old Red Sox logo, the colors, everything made me want to learn more about what came before, the cards that were printed back in the day. And being on a childhood budget, being a Red Sox fan, the first player I gravitated towards, I have an affinity for collecting Carl Yastrzemski. And I will never get sick of showing this card. In my opinion, it's my favorite card ever made. And I'm so honored to own it. It still blows me away that I own this card. Carl Yastrzemski was my guy. I wanted every single Topps card of his, and I have them all now. But while I was picking up all the Topps cards, I was learning about all the other players that he played with, that he played against, the players that were in the different sets that he was in, and just learning about those Hall of Famers. It really added to my appreciation for the history of the game. I've always been a fan of history, but that was kind of my stepping off point into the vintage world and appreciating the history that baseball has. It's so rich. And so many great Hall of Famers in what Mike Moynihan deems the golden age of cardboard. Mike Moynihan, Ray from Philly, they started doing these set registries and talk about the post-war rookie Hall of Fame checklist. And while I don't do it strictly through PSA, I will pick up Hall of Fame rookies that I can afford. The great Frank Robinson here, 57 Topps. And I'll also prospect for guys that are going to get in eventually, like Dick Allen. So when they get in, I don't have to rush and get their rookie card when all the prices jump up. I already have it in the collection. So collecting Hall of Fame rookies after I started getting some Carl Yastrzemski cards was my next passion in vintage, and from there I started picking up just all Hall of Famers from their vintage cards, not just rookie cards, and have built up a great PC of that through Topps and Bowman's early years. I had kind of this groove that I was going into with the Hall of Famers and picking up the Topps cards, but once I started getting a lot of those, I kind of got interested in other stuff. And when I started getting into college and I had a bigger budget, I decided that I was going to go for some of the more obscure stuff. And that could be big and colorful, like this 67 Dexter Press Mickey Mantle. Or that could be very scarce and smaller, like my 69 Super Proof Joe Morgan Blankback. And stuff like this is really exciting to me. Watching guys like Dave Blue Jacket 66 and John Mangini, you get to see a lot of stuff that you don't see every day. And I've talked about this with John multiple times. You can be online or at any card show in America and find the great top stuff. It's iconic, people collected it, people saved it. But the stuff that wasn't as common, it was regionally distributed or distributed only from a certain company, that kind of stuff, there's just way less of it out there. There's way less of it seen and kept. So it really excites me to learn about new sets and pick up oddball sets. I know that's not the term that John Mangini approves of, but kind of in Rick's name there, the stuff that isn't basic Topps and Bowman sets really does excite me, whether it's oversized or, in this case, just really tough stuff either through Topps or other companies. And in the last couple years, my collecting has been updated a lot, and it's been through interactions with people. A seller locally named Michael, I get along with him really well, has a connection in Venezuela, and he was showing me cards that I'd maybe seen some in YouTube videos and online searching, but I hadn't really dived into them. But there was cards made overseas, and whether it's the Venezuelan Topps, like here, this Veda Pinson, that have beautiful, vibrant, different colors because they were printed on different material, or this 72 Venezuelan League sticker of Rod Carew, really tough card. Printed in Venezuela, they make Topps quality control look amazing back then, and just seeing stuff like this in person, handling it, hearing a little bit about it, really just sparked that same creative interest I had with the oddball stuff into overseas issues. And while they are very expensive, the Cuban, Venezuelan, even the Canadian stuff, it is really cool to see the differences in the printing and the designs of some of these things. Really awesome stuff that I don't get sick of looking up. Another thing that early on was taboo, my first card show, they said, why would you ever get a card signed? That damages the card, it ruins the card's value. But this is why you get a card signed. Look at that. 1954 Red Heart Mini Minoso with a beautiful blue signature on it. Now this card, it's great, but it's not perfect. And this card is enhanced so much by the autograph, both in value and just eye appeal. I love this card so much, and getting playing days cards that are autographed, it's the same reaction people have to preferring on-card autographs to stickers. Well, the player handled this. Isn't it so much cooler that the player handled a playing days vintage card of themselves versus a card that's fresh off the press here in 2023? I think it is, and whenever I can pick up this stuff for a good deal, I do. Everybody seemed to come around on this. The price of this stuff has increased thoroughly over the years, but getting stuff like this Minoso, you just can't pass it up when the price is right. And the final things have been straight up YouTube influences. One of them being from Lou Rock TV. He had a Relic lineup VR in my first couple weeks of YouTube, and I was watching all the responses and seeing all these amazing bat knobs and patches and crazy relics of Hall of Famers, not just gray, white, or black swatches. And it just made me think, why don't I have these patches of great players? They're actually pretty affordable. If you look at, I got this Adrian Beltre here to show. And it's just so much more satisfying to look at than a napkin piece, a white swatch, a gray swatch, whatever. Obviously, I prefer the old school certification, but getting a relic card of a guy that's in the Hall of Fame, or in Adrian Beltre's case, a lock for the Hall of Fame, that's just super cool. Just having a piece of the team logo, their last name, the number, just anything that's not just a plain white or gray swatch, because those are great, but this is a whole nother level of relic collecting. And I love those. The other one is because of Shane. This is a set that I had 2 cards from, but because they're scarce and I don't like spending money on modern cards too often, I was kind of avoiding this parallel, but look at this. 2011 Topps Hope Diamond, David Ortiz. Numbered to 60. You can get a glimpse of the shine here, but the camera does not do it justice. This is his favorite modern parallel. I have to agree. There's some great ones, but this is just takes the cake for me. You don't find them super often, even though the set isn't even 15 years old yet. Because they're numbered to 60, because there's still a lot of unopened wax, a lot of this stuff is in people's collections already. But man, the shine is unbelievable. And being able to get players that I enjoyed, not just Hall of Fame level players like David Ortiz, but minor players like Johnny Peralta and Ubaldo Jimenez, I've enjoyed just picking up their Hope Diamond parallels for pretty much nothing compared to how hard those were to pull out of packs back in the day. So, Shane, thank you so much for that influence. Thank you to everybody who stuck around through this. My collecting journey's been pretty awesome, and I'm glad to now be able to share it with so many of you over the last year or so. Shane also wanted us to talk about a product we wish would come back. And while I agree Upper Deck should just have all baseball back, the set that I want them to do the most is the sweet spot. Autographed baseballs are great. I have a few myself, but not everybody has room for a big unit. Sorry, Jake. This is an autographed baseball that is portable and doesn't take up a ton of space. To me, it's the perfect signature set. I love them. This Bob Gibson, I have not shown on YouTube before, but just really cool stuff. Man, they just did baseball cards right. The photography they chose, the designs, the certification, everything about these cards are awesome. I know people have had trouble with the baseball material that they used, but if they brought it back today, they would have the best baseball material on the market, no doubt. And kind of a tip to collectors out there, get the guys that signed in like the ballpoint pens, not the Sharpies. They stay on the baseball material way better and don't fade or smudge. So I hope you guys enjoyed this VR for Shane. I'm going to leave a link to the channel description below. If you haven't checked him out already, I cannot recommend it more. Great member of this community, great content creator, stuff for everybody. So hope you guys enjoy the rest of your week, and I will catch you in the next one. Peace.